Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching us from. Welcome to today's episode of Sedat HR Digest, and today is Q&A session. What we are going to do today is that we are here to help answer all your HR questions that are on your mind. But before we go into the discussion, I'd like you to drop your name and your location in the comment box. We want to acknowledge you and give you a shout out. And want to say a very big thank you to all of you that have been watching us Sunday after Sunday. We are very grateful. Thank you so much. Please comment and then like and share our link with your friends and loved ones. Let's meet, let's learn together, and let's grow together. Sedat HR Digest is brought to us by Sedat Consult. Sedat Consult is an HR consulting firm, and we are there to tailor-made solutions to your HR problems for you. So talk about anything HR, anything leadership, we are here to tailor solutions to meet your specific need. If you want Sedat Consult to come to your aid, if you want us to handle your capacity building for you, if you want us to handle your leadership programs for you, feel free to contact us on 0244 629245, 0244 629245, and we will be there to support you and provide tailor-made HR solutions to your HR problems. If you want to visit our website, you can go to sedatconsultslimited.com, www.sedatconsultlimited.com, or you can also reach us on info@sedatconsultlimited.com. Reach out to us and we will be there to help you and to provide a tailor-made HR solution to your HR session. So today, it's all about you. We need you to share your questions with us. Let us know your HR questions, and we would assist to provide solutions to you. We've already received some few questions from some of you during the week, and so we would start the conversation with that, and then we would quickly move on into we'll read out your questions as and when you share with us. And again, at Sedat HR Digest, it's always about knowledge sharing. And so feel free, let us know if you have a different opinion about whatever is being discussed. You are free to share yours. Let us know. We are here to learn together. If you want to seek any clarification, please feel free and then share with us. If you want to share your questions with us, so we'll be very glad to have it. All right, so this afternoon we are privileged to have a dynamic young man to join me. He's a regular face on Sedat HR Digest. He has more than 5 years of expertise in managing human resource functions, administration, HR processes, and developing policies. He's well versed in planning, day-to-day HR operations, and acquainted with labor laws and industry standards. He is a people-oriented person. He has organizational development skills, and he's here to help us. He's one of the hosts of Sedat HR Digest, and today I am happy that he's going to be at the other side of the seats. And so I'd like to introduce to you our guest for today, Ebenezer Kojo. Is it Kwakwa? Eben, did I get you?
Kwakwa.
Oh, okay, so I got it right. All right, so
Yes.
Eben, welcome to Sedat HR Digest. It's good to have you at the other side today.
Thank you very much. Now I know how it feels now to be on the other side. And my case has to do with you asking me questions. So thank you for having me. And I was wondering, was it me you were talking about? Hey, and Charlie,
It's
by the
you.
grace of God, we've come far.
Oh, yeah. All right, so today is Q&A, and as usual, we're going to have viewers share their questions with us, and then we would respond to them. Okay, so we'll have a Q&A. And as usual, today you're sitting at the other side, so I'm treating you like a guest.
And
Next week when you come and occupy your seats, right? So
yes, thank you very much.
our viewers would share with us their question, regular or operational HR questions and other questions that is bothering them in terms of their HR practice, and then we would um, help them, or will help to provide solutions for them. So I have Zachary. Zachary Salamat says, hello, Zachary. I hope you are doing well. It's been a while. It's been a while. Good to have you here. All right, so let's quickly go through. So we have some few questions that came in, and we want to start with that whilst we wait for you to also share yours and also share your contribution as well. So this person is saying that I have been asked to draft a contract letter for an employee who is joining our company, and I want to find out when should probation start. And the contract is for, I think the person said the contract is for 2 months, but she's been asked to give the person, put the person on probation. So she wants to find out where does probation start and when does it end.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Sidat. And also, hello to everybody watching us. Today, I'm on the other side, and I understand how it feels now. So, the little knowledge that I have, I'm going to share it out. So, back to your question. I might not know the context or the circumstances surrounding why 2 months, but in a typical employment offer you are giving to someone, normally you have the right to decide the fixed period that you want to. But 2 months, basically, in other sense, looks like a probationary. But what you can do, since you're already offering 2 months, what you can do is that at least 2 weeks can also serve as a probationary period for such a contract. But I would have said 2 months basically looks also like a contract. I don't know if after the 2 months, are you going to extend it, or are you going to terminate it, or are you going to regularize it? So the person who asks, I would say 2 weeks would be okay for such a contract to serve as probation. Yeah.
All right, all right. Thank you very much, Iben. So then we have another question. A person said, should an employee who exits an organization in the middle of the month be paid full salary?
Come again.
Should an employee who exits an organization in the middle of the month be paid full salary?
Okay, most questions that comes in, the context is very key. Definitely, when somebody is exiting, definitely you have a contract with the person, so it states the conditions to the when you want to terminate the contract. It either says that give me 1 month notice, or in lieu of notice you have to pay. So definitely the person has not fulfilled that term. If you have 1 month to end, and you definitely have to pay me as the employer in lieu of the notice that you have given. As you have paid me in 1 month, definitely the period that you worked, maybe you worked for 2 weeks, definitely the 2 weeks you have worked and you've ended, so definitely a salary will be paid to you, a prorated salary. But you did not fulfill your part of the contract that says that give me 1 month. So definitely you owe me as an employer to maybe looking at your contract that you have with the employee. So either salary in lieu of notice, or you give me a notice so that the period that you work, I pay you off. Yeah, I believe the person appreciates this answer.
Yeah, so I think the best thing to do if the person has served the right notice and all that, like Eben said, is for you to prorate the salary for the person, because that 2 weeks have been earned by the person. I mean, any other benefit aside the salary that has been earned must be given to the person. So if the person, not only salary, but if the person has even earned leave, you should
Yes.
encash the leave and then give it to them. So make sure that um, whatever the person is entitled to and has earned it. There's a difference between earning your what is due you and being entitled to it. So you are entitled to it, but you need to earn it to qualify to have it. So please make sure that aside the salary that would have to be prorated, the person has also earned other benefits. And once that is done, make sure that you have all those things given to the person before the person exits. Or why? So this person also says that my boss seems to be very difficult when it comes to accepting HR initiatives that I bring on board. What do I do um, to handle my boss who does not support HR activities?
Wow. Wow. That's a very tough boss that you have. But I believe that you should be able to demonstrate the ROI and every activities you want to initiate or implement in the organization. I think that once you are able to do that, definitely you get their buy-in. Most of the times, we are unable to demonstrate what if the needed support is given to us. This is how it's going to impact the organization, and as a result of that, we don't have their support. So it's a very difficult situation. But gradually, I think from time to time, you would have to school him. It's difficult anyway, but you have to school him on HR activities, its impact on the organization. And you should be able to demonstrate strategically. Sometimes our activities that we do are basically operational, transactional. Look at the business, assess the business as a business partner, and look at the pain point areas and see how your HR processes or your HR initiative can address that. Once you are able to touch on them, because these are the heart of the business and it's affecting the entire business, definitely the CEO is concerned. So once you're able to link your initiatives and able to show that this is the problem. This is what HR seeks to do. And this is the impact it's going to have on the organization. Definitely, there's going to be a buy in. But if you're the type of person that you go give me this, and at the end, they don't see anything, even your activities does not reflect to see how it is impacting on the organization pain areas. Definitely, no CEO will try as much as possible to buy in your ideas. A typical example is when the organization have issues with automation, it's paper, manual work. So how does HR, you come in, you think outside the box, okay, we are currently on 365, Microsoft 365. How can I collaborate with IT? Um, to come up in a way that we can automate our workflows. You see, it will come at an extra cost, but however, you are able to demonstrate that okay, this is how much we are spending on paper, stationaries, and this. And when we are able to implement this, this is the results that is going to come. So once you're able to demonstrate strategically, you definitely would have the buy-in of your boss. It won't be easy, but with time, you will get there. So that is my little advice I'll give to such person.
Right, thank you very much, Eben. And let me add this to it. Now, within every organization, I mean, every well structured and effective organization, you have your goals for the year. Okay, you have something everybody is looking up to for the year or to achieve within the year. So, like Eben have said, you once you show the ROI or the value that HR contributes to the organization's goals, I think that gradually they will come to accept it. But if you plan your HR activities in isolation and it is not aligned to what the organization wants to do, then definitely you are going to have some few challenges getting your boss to buy into what you want to do. So make sure that whatever HR initiative you are bringing on board, or whatever program you want to undertake, or whatever activity you want to undertake, it is being aligned to what the organization wants to achieve for the year. So if the focus, Eben cited the example of the tech side. Now let me pick it from another angle. Now, for instance, every organization has its own vision. So one can say that today, or this particular year, we are looking at expansion, okay, or growth as an organization. That is our goal. That is what we want to achieve in the year. What are the HR activities that you are going to perform that would align to expansion and then to the growth objective that the company is looking at? So don't just plan your HR activities in isolation. Don't just do it in vacuum. Don't just do it because um, you want to just do it. A lot of times, especially with the upcoming young HR people, you hear somebody is doing it and you want to do it. The question is, it is good to pick inspiration from other program or other people, but does it align with your organization goal for the year? Does it speak to your organization plan or your priorities for the year? So, like Eben has said, make sure that at the end of the day, whatever you are doing, it is being aligned. Once they see that you are adding value to what the organization wants to achieve, or your aim is to help achieve or to support the achievement of what the organization has planned for the year, I believe they'll be interested in it. So when you are presenting your programs and your activities, please make sure that it's aligned to what the organization wants to do. Possibly you would want to support it with some few data to give you weight and to speak. I mean, once you have data, it will speak to the facts and not, they would recognize or acknowledge the real need for it, and they will know that this is not based on intuition, but you actually have real need, and it really contributes to the organization's objective or wide. And so let me come to Eben.
I'm here.
So this person says, how do I know a candidate is the right choice for an advertised role?
Wow. How would I know a candidate? Uh, the candidate is the right choice for the advertise. So definitely, once you advertise, the person sends his or her CV. First step is if the CV matches the criteria or what the shortlist criteria. So if the person meets, that's the first step that the person have met. So definitely the next step in your recruitment process, every organization and how they go about it. So the first step to identify that if this person, you don't know, but through the resume or the CV, first you get to know that, okay, this meets the criteria. So the next step is based on your policy, you go for an interview. So that an interview, you assess the candidate based on your organizational criteria that you are looking out for. And definitely you should have assessment tools. And that assessment tools are for me generally these are predictive anyway. So it can predict good at the end. So these assessment tools would also assess to ensure that this person is right for the job. And the next step is once you've gotten the person, you know that this person is the right person. For you to truly test that if this person is the right, is the probationary period that you give to the person. So during that period, you are able to assess the person's uh, need for improvement, definitely areas of improvement, definitely you need to equip the person. And if at the end of the probationary period you think the person meets the criteria, then you confirm. So first, I think it begins with the selection stage. That is one. shortlisting. When the person meets the criteria based on your policy, it goes to the next, that is the interview. You assess based on your assessment tools that you have, which predicts for you to, based on reliability of all the data that you have gathered, you give the person an offer. Then your probationary period is what you use to confirm whether the person is the right candidate or not. So I believe if I've answered the question for the candidate, for the person who asked the question.
Right. Thank you very much, Eben. So, Zachary is asking a question. Zachary says, but I think you have to be given the opportunity to demonstrate the ROI. Yeah. So, that is true. I mean, you need to, your activity needs to be, you need to show the value that your activities is being added to what the organization wants to achieve. But this is someone who is saying that anytime that he or she goes, she doesn't get the support for the HR activities. It means that, I mean, everybody will have, you would before your boss would say, I will even mind you, or I'm not even going to look at it. Probably he's giving you some kind of um time to contribute to whatever is happening. So
And you
once
have done that.
and you have failed to prove that, okay, so not necessarily the return in terms of cash or in terms of value, but I mean, even if it is qualitative, you can show forth the value on the bottom line. You can do that. So if you are being given the time to demonstrate your ROI or the value your HR activities adds to the organization priorities or plan for or goal for the year, and they still don't see anything, I don't think they will have the patience to even give you that time to demonstrate anymore. I don't know what Eben would want to add to it. Eben, you want to
You
contribute to
said
the.
you said it all. So if your boss is still being hard, try putting him on conferences that talks about HR. One of these days, invite him to one of these conferences, leadership conferences, and you understand the importance of strategic HR, how HR can contribute to organizational success. So once a while, you'll be pushing materials to him, or by WhatsApp, short materials for him to read and appreciate. And with time, and definitely, and with your actions must show. Okay, so with time, you will get there.
Okay. So somebody is also asking, is it legal to suspend an employee?
Wow, this has been a question that most HR people. It depends on the context. If, let's say, for example, COVID happened, issue of force majeure, that happens where production or operations are halted and revenues are not coming. In this case, it's a force majeure. These are acts of nature, wars, pandemic that have come. So you can suspend, that is a temporal halt of the employment relationship that we have, given a particular period. But when we flip it to the other side of sanctions in terms of disciplinary issue, there have been back and forth issue. Hello, there have been back and forth court cases, legal issue in relation to suspension. So suspension can be implemented when the right actions are being put in place. So are you suspending the person to go home and go enjoy whilst you are paying him and all those kind of things? So suspension for me can be implemented as a disciplinary sanction when best your procedures have been followed. For example, somebody has engaged in something. The first aspect is to hear the person's side of the story. Once you hear it, there's a need for you to what? Set up an independent hearing so that they can further investigate. So once the investigation has been done, then definitely they come out with their findings. And if their findings definitely needs a sanction to be taken, which means that the person's employment needs to be halted for some time, definitely it should be stated with what it comes associated with. So for me, I would say It can be implemented as a disciplinary sanction when the right procedures are being followed for both parties to understand it. I believe I've answered the question. But in the issue of force majeure and all those kind of things, you can implement it temporal halt of operation till the assumption that by the time the timeline is exhausted, we have come back to our normal form of operations where we can continue. I believe I've answered that.
Sure, and just to add to it, many a times people will issue suspension letters and say they are investigating the issue, and then when they finish, they will come and then now issue the actual disciplinary action that they want to give to the employee. Suspension is a disciplinary action. All right. So if you want the person to stay out of job or out of the office to allow investigations to proceed, you don't issue a
That's
suspension
it.
letter. You interdict the person.
Date.
All right.
Yes.
Because once you suspend, you have already punished the person. So you interdict the person usually on half salary, and when your investigations are through and the person is exonerated, you reimburse. But if the person is not exonerated, whatever disciplinary action has to be taken, you give it out. So please don't give suspension letter and say you are investigating the issue. You have already punished the person. Suspension is a disciplinary action. So you rather issue an interdiction letter, or you interdict the person for investigations to be carried out. And then once you are done with investigation, then you can issue your disciplinary action. Like Ebenezer said, make sure that you follow the right process, because the person may be wrong, but if you do not follow the right process to issue out the right disciplinary action, you may be found wanting with the law if the person should pick the case. And so make sure that in terms of procedure, you are right. Give the person a fair hearing and all that. And I believe you should be fine. Thank you very much, Eben. We have another question here. This person says, how can job seekers effectively prepare for interviews?
Wow. Prepare for an interview. You're making me remember my days where. So definitely, once you know
Sure,
a
we are we
particular.
are we are interested in what you did.
Okay, so this is from my personal experience. So once you know the organization, you've seen the job ad, definitely you need to work on your resume to pinpoint some key areas in not necessarily copy and paste, but also key areas in the job that when they look at, they know that, okay, this resonates with what we are looking for. So that gives you the chance for shortlisting. So if you are good and you get the opportunity for interview, before you go, please read about the organization. It's an organization you are going to work with. So learn about the organization. Go to the organization website, any news about the organization. And also, if you are well experienced in the role you have applied, fantastic. If you have not, read about the role. At least if you don't have the expertise, at least have the knowledge. So that when some questions come to you and you don't have the experience to demonstrate, at least you have the knowledge. So once you go in there, you don't go on an empty head. You go expressing what you know about the organization, your understanding of the role, and how you can impact the organization. I believe these are the things that will be able to put you at the limelight and offer you the opportunity. And also look good. Look good. You will never get a second chance to make a first impression. So, in your own small way, look good, smell good, and have confidence in yourself. Because there are some people you see a nice resume, but when you bring them before an interview panel, you realize that this is directly opposite of what you see. So even though you give them the time to relax, or even better still, you give them a next opportunity to come, still they don't meet it. So please, um, work on your resume. Two, when given opportunity for interview, prepare. Study about the organization, the role that you've applied for. If you have an experience, definitely the questions equate it with your your past experience. If you don't have the experience, at least know about the role. And once you do that, and lastly, just look good. Once you do that, you are able to make way and get a job offer. That is my experience.
All right, thank you very much, Eben. Like Eben said, make sure that you, at least if you don't have the practical, you have knowledge of whatever you are going to be interviewed for, and make sure that whatever you put in your resume, you have what it takes to execute it. Don't go and put something you haven't seen before just because you went on the internet, saw it, so you also carried it, and you don't even have any knowledge about it. You don't have any competence in carrying it out. You just carried it and then just um, um, added it to the things in your resume because it sounded very nice and sweet in your ears. So once they call you for interview and you are not able to demonstrate that you can carry it out, you definitely would not get the job. So make sure that you have the right competences in your resume. Like Eben said, please don't forget to tailor your resume to the job ad. Don't have one resume for every advert that you see, job advert you see. One resume, you see customer service, you use the same thing. You see accounting role, you use the same thing. You see every other role you see, you use that. Make sure that you always tailor it. Look out for the keywords in the job information that is being placed out there or in the advert. Tailor your resume to suit the job ad. Otherwise, when your CV gets to Aben, he will look at it, laugh at you, and put it somewhere because there will be no alignment between what is in your resume and what he's looking for. So he will just push it somewhere. Thank you very much, Eben. So I have another interesting question here again. It's also got to do with job search. So this person says that what are some common mistakes that job applicants make during the hiring process?
Okay, so common mistakes. It begins with the selection. One, things I have come across is that you send as your resume without sometimes the way they label the resume, patience is something else. You just is there's no name. So with that, even though I'll be tempted to open, but due to time constraint, one I won't look at that. So I think your CV presentation is key during the recruitment. Please come with the question again. If you can come again, Patience, can you come with the question again?
Yeah, so common mistakes that job applicants make during the hiring process.
Please come again. I lost you.
Common mistakes that job applicants do during the hiring process.
Okay, so one, your CV, how you tailor it to suit it. Sometimes the CV, the way they even send it, you don't follow the instruction. They say use this as your subject. Maybe as you are sending it, use this as the subject. You don't use it. One is a common mistake. How you tailor your CV to suit. You don't tailor it very well. Your presentation is very because recruiters are working with limited time. So these are things that would sorry to say would sway them off. I won't use that word. Will sway them off, so they won't have time for that. So your CV too, uh, not able to demonstrate what you have on your resume. You said you are this, you are this, you are this, but when you are given the opportunity, interview is an opportunity to justify because you have passed the first stage. That is a selection process. So interview is to where you are going to justify what you have indicated on your resume, which resonates with the job role. So you should be able to, so not able to demonstrate at the interview is also one of the mistakes that people do. Some organization too, even though those is not a criteria, but sometimes appearance is key. As you are coming for an interview, please take time and dress well. There's a need to do a haircut. Go and have a nice haircut. Look good. You see,
Trim the
sometimes
beard, let it look
trim,
good.
you see, It's very key. Appearance, it reflects the image of the organization, especially if you're going to the banking field. They are very key on appearance. That is why they offer clothing allowance. It's not about buying just the clothes. Oh. Your grooming too is very key. That's why they offer you. So all these are things that they look out for. So if you're not able to meet all these things, at least look good. Not extremely good, but what Moon say, Obi address here, or you good present, I mean presentable. Don't come in a crumpled shirt and say, oh, because of your suit, you are coming all sweaty. Come early, come and sit at the reception, let the AC cool you down. Don't come in late. You understand? So that by the time you get into the interview room, you are well dried. Then you see, walk in confidence, come in confident. But you see some resume in Pakon Babedru Honona Chese is directly opposite. So I think the selection process starts with your resume, tailor it well, label it well. Very important. Label it well. Once you pass that stage, the interview, prepare very well. Don't just come not knowing about the organization. And also come, dress well, appearance is key, and give out your best shots. I think these are mistakes people. They don't come dressed well. They don't come not knowing anything about the organization or how to demonstrate what they have on their resume. So I think these are common mistakes. If I've left some out, patience, you can add some.
Right, but I think you've said it, but let me just add a few. So in terms of your resume or your CV, you want to look out for
Please go ahead.
grammatical errors. Make sure that there are no errors in terms of like grammatical errors in your resume or your CV. Make sure that you don't have people put tables, images, graphs, and other stuff. If your CV or your resume is to go through an ATS or applicant tracking system, it will reject it because the system will not. It doesn't recognize images and then graphs and tables and all that. And then please make sure that there are no grammatical errors in your CV. Make sure that you have checked all those, to go through over and over and over again and make sure that you have checked it very well. Then again, another thing you want to look at is Eben has spoken about your appearance, how you appear at the interview. But I would also want to add your confidence level at the interview. Make sure that in terms of confidence, you are there. Yes, don't you're not going to be overly, but be in charge. You understand? Be in charge. Make sure that you are owning the conversation that is going on. Be in charge. You have people that come for interview. You can see like Eben said, once you are called for interview, it means that you have something good on paper that we want to have a physical conversation with. So, and now personally, when I'm interviewing people, when you come, I just tell you that as a conversation. All right. So that's maybe the word interview scares people. So I will tell you we are going to have a conversation. But the fact that you've been called for an interview means that you are about 50% through. Come and justify the remaining 50%. That is what you are going to do. So make sure that when you go, you have confidence to speak to your competence, because it's your competence and your experience that you have put on paper for the recruiter. So go with that confidence, and please make sure that if you don't have an idea about a question that is you are being asked at the interview, I think there's nothing wrong for you to say that you have no idea, but you would research into it, or you would go about to read it. It's better to let them know that you have no idea than to give a false information or confidently lie about the question, that because sometimes people come, they are so confident and they are scamming you with the information they are giving you, you could tell that this one is a scam. Just like the person is not giving the right information, and yet the person is so confident. I feel that, Charlie, we don't know it all. Okay, we don't know it all. So personally, I don't have a problem if you have no idea and you genuinely say that, oh, with this particular one, I have no idea about it, but it's okay. I will look at it. I would learn to update. And probably at the other side, if somebody has the idea, the person can be gracious to let you know what it is. It's better to be frank and truthful than to go and lie, and then now they give you the job and you are not able to do. You lied, you can do it. We give you the job, and you are not able to do it. So your confidence, you need to work on the confidence. And one other thing, even I see people, I don't know what you think, but when you ask them what their expectation in terms of salary is, they first of all will go like, I know the company has a salary structure, and so I know that, please, before, like even said, read, read about the company. If you are going for a particular job, okay, you should research about averagely how much is being paid to those jobs in that particular industry. Have a basic idea. Okay, for me, I don't know if I'm right or not, but I think that particular question is to know your worth. We want to know how much. I mean, you've gone through the job, the descriptions and all that has been shared, and I'm asking how much you want me to pay you, and you are asking me about that. I have salary structure. Okay, so what if you see the question? The truth is that whether you quote high or you quote low, if an employer is interested in hiring you, that will not
We'll come
affect it.
back. Yeah, we'll come back to you to discuss.
Personally, I don't think if I am really interested in the candidate and the candidate would, I need the candidate, whether you quote high or low, it doesn't have anything. I just want to make sure that what you are expecting from me aligns with what my budget is in, and that is why now there's an advocate that once we are placing the advert, we the recruiters, we should also put the salary in the job ad. So once you see the salary, you already know what you are coming for. So that one, that question, that part of the co-conversation is not, doesn't create a whole lot. So you're able to tell, okay, I'm coming in, this is the salary range and all that. But at least research and know that in this industry, averagely, this is what an account officer is being paid. This is how much an HR person is being paid. Have a fair idea of what is being paid in the industry, so that when they ask you, and then not only the salary, but the benefits that are also given. And if you can find a way of getting to know some information from the organization, you need to really do a good research before you go in there. Because remember, if you are not already working and you are home, that one fine, you are now going in fresh. But if you are working, you are going to resign from your work and you are going to pick up a new role. You don't have to move on to a place and be disappointed. You get it? So make sure that you do a good um, research about the company, like Eben has advised before you move into. But please come with your expectation, come ready with your expectation, what you expect, so that if there will be any need to manage your expectation at the hiring process before you get in, they'll be able to do that. But I mean, I know people who advise that you can usually give a range. So you look at the average, you give a range, and then you are about. And if you know what you are going for, just name it. If they are interested in you, they will come for you. That's one. But at least it is just to know the it's just to know your expect what you expect from the company, especially for those who don't put the salaries on the job ad and all that. It's to know your expectation, and then to see if your expectation aligns with what they have to offer. If there will be a need to negotiate with you, they will call you. They'll call you, and if it is too low and they have to put you out there, right? I know some people wouldn't, but personally, I wouldn't do that. If you quote anything lower than what the job requires, I will give you what is required. I'll give you what is required. So um please come prepared in all these areas. Okay. Come prepared in all these areas. All right. So I guess Eben is having some few internet issues. Right. Good to have you back, Eben. So we have another question here, and this one is about sick leave. This one is about sick leave. So the person is saying that she has a staff who had visited the hospital, and the person has been given 2 days sick leave. So she wants to find out, when does the person report to the office. The person went to the hospital on Thursday and was given 2 days. Okay. So she wants to find out there. So does it count from the Thursday, or it starts counting from the Friday, or it goes to Friday, Monday? Does it jump the weekend? I guess the person is confused over there. So even if you can help us respond to the
This
question.
this thing has been quite debatable in so many HR platforms. Was it a working day that was indicated on the excuse duty? Is it 2 days, working days, or 2 days? I don't know what was stated, but it says 2 days. And you know you're supposed to report to work. Let's say today is Thursday, you're supposed to report to work, but you indicated that you are not well, so you went to the hospital, right? As you went to the hospital, you were given an excuse duty for 2 days. So the 2 days start from the day you went to the hospital because you couldn't come back to work. And an explanation why you couldn't come back was the excuses. So the excuses covered the days of your absence. I couldn't make it to work because I was sick. So that day you have been excused because you are not well. So Thursday and a Friday, then you come back to work on Monday.
So what happens if probably if you could extend the explanation to, if the person visited the hospital on a Friday, when does the person report? And it is not
So
working day stated. It says excuse due to two
So it's a
days.
question normally I always tell employees. So if they say you are sick 3 days and it's a Friday, would the sickness stop on Friday night and continue on Monday, Tuesday, and come to work on Wednesday? No. So it says days. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, making 3 days, you come to work on Monday. Some will say, oh, they say 3 working. I haven't seen any doctor written 3 working days. And logically, would the sickness stop? If you work in an organization that works on Saturday and Sunday, then definitely it has covered that period. I just don't get it when people try to, employees try to, when it gets to weekends, they don't want to calculate the weekends to the sick. It's the general conception about the is that the doctor say you need time to rest. So if
Yeah.
in those days your services are needed, you shouldn't be bothered. That is what the doctor is trying to say. So take time off to rest from any form of work. So even if it's Saturday and Sunday, your boss tries to let you work, or your work demands that go to work on Saturday or Sunday, fantastic, you are not going. So that's what it says. So you go Friday covers that it start from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and you have to report on Monday. Or if your sickness, this is just a layman. If your sickness, I'll just be naughty here. If your sickness will pause on Friday, on Monday, Tuesday, and you come to work on Wednesday, are fine. But Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, you report on Monday.
Right. Thank you very much, Eben. And for those of you that would go to because you know a medical doctor, you go to the person, oh, write excuse duty for me, so that then you take the excuse duty, bring it to the office that you are sick, but you go to the salon, you are sick. By the time you report from work, you report to work, you've gone to the salon, you've gone to do your own thing, and you are be careful, because if you are not truthful to the business, one day you will be walking around chilling somewhere, your boss will see you. So please be truthful to yourself and to the company, and then make sure that when you are giving rests, the doctor prescribes rest for you to take as a just for you to recoup from your sickness, please do that. All right, please do that. Okay, we have some few minutes to go, and so we are waiting. Keep please sending your questions to us, um, and let's help to respond to that. All right, so let me go back to Eben, and then even I have another interesting question here. This person says that, "Mm, what do I do if my manager is insisting on doing something that is not best practice and does not conform to the Labor Act?" The person didn't give any specific
Yeah.
thing that the manager is doing. The question is very broad, I mean, very generic. So probably would attempt to respond to the person in that light. So, even what advice will you give to this person?
Okay, so this relationship where I hope you can hear me. I'm back.
Yeah,
Uh,
Eben, please go
uh,
ahead.
okay, you can hear me.
Yeah, I can.
Okay, so this is a very dicey situation where you find yourself in a subordinate boss relationship where your boss wants things to be done this way. Once you have identified that one is against the labor practice, is a red flag, is a big red flag. How to address it? And this is the case, it is your boss. In typical situations, definitely, if he wants you to do something, just have a backup of documents that you need. For example, if there's a need for you to terminate somebody's contract, and if you are terminating the contract, definitely it must follow due processing. So if your boss is telling you that do it this way, I will go about it in a way that definitely I do a memo or something or a write up by mail, send it to my boss, letting him know his actions and the impact of what is going to happen. You understand? Then you add a small note, kindly advise in order to proceed, or kindly advise. You say to the person, definitely he knows the impact, he's not going to come, but you have that as an evidence in case of any issue happens. You have a backup to that. And if you are in a well structured organization where you have internal controls,
Mm,
you have the compliance unit, you can raise a red flag because such issues doesn't affect the organization. When it goes to labor commission, it is the organization that is going, not the individual. It is the organization name that is going to be represented. So it is going to be this versus this organization. So once you have an internal control unit or a compliance unit, raise a red flag. Definitely your boss will feel that you have reported, but the right things must be done to ensure that it does not affect the organization. So one, have the necessary documentation being done, paperwork, or just a simple email highlighting the impact of your boss's action, its implication on the organization. For tomorrow, when you take that action, who told you? And this, so you have a copy and you have an internal audit unit, definitely, or internal control unit, raise a red flag. You understand? And I believe these things can help address such issues that we face in the organization. Definitely, it's going to be a tough decision for you, but I believe that once you have those information backing you, when the time comes for you, definitely you have a way of going around it. So I don't know, patience, if I've answered it correctly, if you had something to add.
sure. Thank you very much, Eben. Thank you. So let's deal with this question that has just come in. You just sent it. That's fine. We'll attempt to share our knowledge. or our view on it. So this person says that his friend worked because the guy is no more, worked with an organization, and before the friend exited from the organization, the friend was actually on probation. Okay, and during the probationary period, there were lots of things that um, happened, and I mean the company wanted to terminate, okay, end the relationship with a friend during the probationary period. However, they chose to go because the guy came to work on a Sunday, um, and they were all supposed to be at work because the exigency of the operations demands that everybody should be at work on Sunday to support whatever work was going on. The friend went to work, left without informing the immediate manager that he or she is leaving, and left. The following day, when the friend came to, in fact, that Sunday evening, he didn't even come, he or she didn't even report to work on Monday. That Sunday evening, he or she had the information not to come to the office again, not to step there again, because the company is restructuring. So the friend then sent a wrote an email to them that then they should pay him 2 weeks in lieu of notice because they didn't give him any notice, and then they terminated his appointment. And they now quoted the Labor Act to say that the company is restructuring, and for that matter, they don't have anything to give him because he's on probation. And then under Section 65, those on probation and fixed term contract do not qualify for anything. So they have terminated their friend's appointment. Now, the question is, should the friend take the company on to the Labor Commission or any legal hearing? Would he be successful or he would not? Even.
With a big sigh. I wouldn't know the circumstances that came about with the overnight decision that,
Absolutely.
oh, okay. And also, I'm not in the legal system to say that this person can win. That is up to the Labor Commission when you have your necessary evidence to prove. So they will be able to to determine whether you have a case or not. But from our side, seated here, we are just like counselors. We give you options and you choose what you want. So, but I believe that in every contract that they give to you, in the contract, in the termination clause, when there's probation, they will tell you how it's going to be abrogated. After confirmation, it tells you when you want to terminate the contract, you should be able to give us 1 month notice, 3 months, depending on your level in the organization. So definitely your contract should be your offer letter should be able to tell you then the how to terminate or end the contract, end the employment relationship during your probationary period. So that one you should go back and check his offer letter, his or her offer letter, so that they can see what. But I believe as an organization, that has an HR. You just don't get up overnight and say, don't come to the office. We are restructuring. Definitely, once there's restructuring, there's ongoing engagement. These are people that will need their employment relationship terminated or terminated. So definitely there's a series of engagement that will be going on, communications that will be going on. And definitely once they will not need you, they will serve you a notice. They will serve you a notice or give you an ample notice that maybe you're on probation, but from 2 weeks from now, your services will no longer be needed. 3 days from now, your services will no longer be needed. So it is as a result of that is the human aspect of HR. You just don't get up overnight and say, don't come to the office again. even conditions of service, it states all these things in there. So I think the person, based on how it went, can go ahead. Definitely, the Labor Commission, everybody have the right to go for a fair hearing. But I believe that the organization too must follow due process to ensure that they arrive at this disengagement stage. So if there is a need for clarification, the person can go back to the HR to find out what really happened, if there's anything that they need to serve him with. After, if the person is not happy with it, then definitely the person have the right to approach the Labor Commission for a fair hearing. So I think, I don't know the circumstances that came around, but in the offer letter, there should be how to go about terminating during probation. And if there's going to be a restructuring, definitely there should be communication and ample notice when there's a need to terminate the contract. So I think the person can go back first, go back to the organization. Don't sit at the comfort of your home and call. No, just take a step further. Go to the HR, seek for further clarification. You understand? If you feel that you have not gotten the needed clarification and you think that you have not been treated fairly, then you can move on to the Labor Commission. So that is my little take on that.
Right, thank you very much, Eben. And just an add-on, so I think that even giving the message to the person on a Sunday, at least allow the person to report to work on Monday, invite the person to your office, okay, to have that conversation and let the person know that, okay, this is what is happening. All right, because usually, sometimes when you give ample notice, the fear that people would tamper with systems and other stuff, sometimes they give the information to you, and then based on the time you receive the information, whatever you have earned, whatever must come to you, they do everything and then give to the person. But in this case, they were thinking that the person is on probation. All right. So I felt like you should have waited for the person to report to work on Monday and then have a conversation with the person. Let the person know that looking at where we are restructuring, and unfortunately your role has been affected. And so ABCD, the person is on probation, and that is the exemption clause, the section 66, okay, subsection B. The Labor Act says a worker serving a period of probation or qualifying period of employment of reasonable duration and determinable in advance. So they were basing their argument on the probation. But like Eben said, irrespective of the fact that the person is on probation and falls under the exception clause of the Labor Act, you still owe the person notice. You still owe the person notice because in the person's contract, you have a notice agreement with the person. And even if you don't have anything written like that, the Labor Act is there to guide you. Any employment less than 3 years is 2 weeks notice or 2 weeks in lieu of notice. So if you have not been able to serve that, probably the severance is what you are looking at. But you definitely owe the person that notice, um, that notice clause in the person's contract. So when you are restructured, you just don't go ahead and you pick the Labor Act, you pick what your policies are saying, you pick the person's contract, and then all these three policies must guide you in carrying out what you want to do. We've attempted to respond to you, but let us know if you are fine with it. But I mean, like Eben said, you should have invited the person either than sending restructuring. Info a news about restructuring is not an easy thing. It's a very heavy one and an emotional one, of course. So you need to be very, very tactful about it. You just don't throw it at the person anyhow. Okay, because whilst you are giving the news to the person, you are also working on the person psychologically, and other things. That conversation, a whole lot of things goes on during that engagement. So just sending the person the message to say that you are restructuring a loan is a big deal. So you should have waited for the person to report to the office. In any case, the person is even on probation. So you could have even decided to, I mean, end the relationship by giving the 2 weeks anyway, or telling the person, okay, we do your probation assessment, let the person know how well the person is performing or not. And then if you think you are hiding on non-performance of the person, to let the person go. I mean, your probationary assessment with the person should reveal that you are not performing. Once you do that, it's very transparent. Everybody gets to know. I mean, you, the assessor, and the employee who is on probation, it's clear there that actually you haven't done well, and that alone the person understands. But if you want to hide on the bar, whatever it is, for me, whatever it is, you should have allowed the person to come to work, have a conversation, or engage the person in a conversation, and then you can now go ahead and then give, I mean, the notice. I think irrespective of whatever happened, I think that you still owe the person that 2 weeks um in lieu of notice, not necessarily with that 2 weeks, because you needed the person to go. Just you, the fear of, I don't know, we are just thinking aloud, maybe for the fear of systems being tempered or certain things that could go wrong if you allow the person to stay there. And I mean, just make sure that you do the right thing, and I think you should be fine. I think our time is up. And I want to say a very big thank you to Eben for sitting at the other side today. I guess would find time and bring somebody from the Labor Commission to
Yeah.
for us to have such conversations around this redundancy and layoff and unfair termination and unfair labor practice and all that, so that we would have a very good understanding of what we need to do. But thank you so much, Eben. It's been very insightful with you. Thank you for helping to respond to some of these. Are not all the questions. We have a lot of questions, but thank you for helping to respond to some of the questions that came in. We would meet you
You're welcome.
next week. We'll be coming your way with another insightful topic. And want to say thank you for joining us. Thank you for making time to listen to this conversation. This is Sedat HR Digest, brought to you by Sedat Consult. And today we had Ebenezer Kojokwakwa as our guests. And my name is Patience, and I was your moderator or facilitator or host for today. And of course, I'm always excited when I have to sit here and ask people like Eben at the other side.
Today you grilled me.
Like I always say, today ends the weekend, work starts tomorrow. Don't just go to work, plan your week very well, prioritize. Don't give yourself unnecessary stress for things that will not benefit you and help you achieve your weekly goal. So prioritize, make sure that you have a plan for what you want to achieve for the week. And on Friday, go back to that plan, find out, did I achieve it? Did I not do? Whatever, whether you achieved it or not, find out why. What prevented you from for not achieving your goal? What went wrong? And probably you would want to look at what to do to correct that so it doesn't repeat itself. I'll see you again next week. And please do have a good evening and enjoy your week. Thank you.